Steph, Abby, and Matt. You're only a what if away from great holidays. What if? It's Aussie for travel. Steph, Abby, and Matt.
Brisbane wakes up with Steph, Abby, and Matt on B105.
G'day, podcasters. Thanks for downloading the podcast.
Stav is away today. He was sick yesterday. There's a lot going around. When is there not a lot going around?
know.
I feel like I always say that to anyone when they're sick. Well, you're not
yeah.
alone. There's a lot going around.
Really is. We got a meeting we got to get to,
Yes.
so here's a podcast, which ironically is about our podcast.
Do you know what,
so
though? Do you reckon anyone will notice that we're not there? Like in all...
Probably not.
No, okay.
We don't contribute enough for it to, you know.
Do you want me to contribute? Because that does take the meeting a
No,
little bit.
I'd
Okay, I won't
prefer if you
contribute. Yep.
just agree to everything so that we could just go home.
Well, you know that's not my style.
Here's a podcast.
The girls have gone wild.
You've gone wild!
Girls gone wild.
They've gone wild.
We're mums who never get out and do anything.
Give me one margarita, two margaritas, give me three margaritas, margarita.
Mum's gone wild.
Mum's Gone Wild. It is this weekend, Saturday night. Retros, it's going to be huge. The home of the 80s, 90s and noughties. It's in Fortitude Valley. You're going to have the time of your life with fishbowl cocktails under discoballsretros.com.au.
It's all about the dancing, the music, the fun, the drinks, and you just need the one person that's going to bring it all together. And Ash, producer Ash and I, we fell in love with this girl at first sight. We were just fascinated. We couldn't stop staring at her. She is the most brilliant DJ because we went to Lisa and Sarah's disco club. And she was the DJ, and we just kept staring at her.
Oh, you fell in love with the DJ on a night out,
We were
hey?
like obsessed. We're like, she's just fabulous.
And usually the DJ's up there going, they all want me.
Well,
They
that's what I
all
was
want
like.
me."
I was like, oh, she gave me the eye. And she was the only person that we were like, no, she needs to be at Mum's Gone Wild. We need to see her up on the decks, just being able to entertain us all. Her name is DJ FADJ,
Yes.
otherwise
that's
known
me.
as Claire. Hey.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Thank you so much for saying yes to this because you are such a vibe. You love what you do, don't you?
I absolutely love it. Thank you. I cannot wait to be playing on Saturday night. It's going to go off.
I mean, qualifications, you are a mum as well.
Yes.
I feel like this is something you've been doing your whole life, but apparently you had like a serious job and then went into DJing.
Yes, that's right. So I'd been mortgage broking for about 15 years and I've always loved music. DJing and music has been such a great creative outlet for me. But when I had my break from working to have my two daughters, I had this 2 a.m. light bulb moment when I was absolutely delirious, as one new mum is, while feeding my baby. And I just thought, what can I do that is meaningful enough to be away from my kids? And I realised it wasn't finance, and that was DJing. And I really missed playing music when I had my kids. So I realised I couldn't be playing in nightclubs or bars until 1 and 2 in the morning and going home and then looking after my young family at 6 a.m. being absolutely exhausted. So I started DJing at fashion parties and cocktail parties that basically fit around my young family life. And it just grew from there. And there weren't that many event DJs playing at the time. There weren't that many female event DJs. So I just started to play at corporate events and weddings, and it just got bigger. And then I played for Katy Perry and then the F1 in Singapore and the AFL Brownlow medal and a VIP
When did you play for
suite.
Katy Perry? Well, you can't just glaze
Drop
over
that.
that like, oh yeah, well, there's like a little bit of Katy
She's
Perry.
like in the country at the moment.
Yeah.
When she was last here in a tour in 2018, I played for her shoe line launch that she was promoting, and so I got to stand right next to her. I even got a photo with her that I hang in our room very proudly. Yeah, it was a real pinch me moment, that one.
Well, can I say
And now
thank you
I
to
play for-
stooping to our level?
We like to go hard early and then go home. So this is perfect.
It's perfect. It's like my dream gig, early start, early finish. It's awesome.
We like to party, but still not
Yeah.
at that time of night.
So
Yeah,
you
be in
went
bed by
from
12.
you went from dropping interest rates for people to dropping bangers on the dance floor.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. How did you get FADJ as your DJ name?
Well, that is funny because I've always been called FADJ because my surname, my maiden name was FADJ. So O'Shea's my married name.
Yeah.
So I've always been called FADJ or FADJ, and it just happened to have DJ in it. So my original DJ name was FADJ, which spelled my nickname, and then people just called me DJ FADJ, and I've always been called FADJ. People think FADJ is mistaken for something else, so that's always a good talking point.
What? Just Eddie, what exactly do they mistaken it for?
He knows.
Am I allowed to say that on radio?
Vagina, no.
Swap the F for a V, then you get something else. But
You got FADJ in the decks.
yeah, so it makes people remember my name, that's for sure.
Abby and Ash were absolutely singing your praises after Disco Club, so we are so excited to see you get out there. What is that number one song, DJ FADJ, that you're like, if I play this, these girls have had 3 margaritas and they are going to sing their lungs out? What's your go-to?
Oh, that is so hard. I don't have one song, but I love Push It by Salt and Pepper. The ladies go off on that. And a crowd favourite at the moment that went off at Disco Club, which I can't wait to play on Saturday, is Sandstorm by Darude.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yes.
Nuts.
The
That's
songs
been
that
so
we
fun.
were at clubs back in the day. Yeah, exactly.
And having a great time.
So good. Look at that, DJ Party Boy. Quick with the fingers, hey?
That's what they used to say about me.
Right. And I know that
DJ FADJ would be quicker with the fingers.
you've got so many outfits for it because we're doing Disco Cowgirl is the outfit,
Yes.
okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have the option if people want to dress up or they want to wear like flats. So whatever you want within that theme.
Love that theme.
All right.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you Saturday night there at Retros. It's going to be a huge one. Great to talk to you.
Thank you so much, guys. I can't wait for Saturday night.
Stab Abby and Matt for breakfast. B105.
We did hear on Saturday, we have a DJ FADJ, who Ash and I just fell in love when we met her at Disco Club. We looked at her and we're like, oh my God, we love her so much. In fact, we might have even come up with this just so that we can get her to DJ, right?
Well, she's from what I've heard,
She's
her
a vibe.
track selection
Yeah.
is impeccable.
Yes.
And she knows how to fill a dance floor.
Yeah, and she's a mum and she likes to party her early and then go home, which is great. And we were just trying to get her name right. And we're saying, what's her name? And we were like, DJ FADJ. Okay.
It's spelled FADJ.
Yes. And as you were asking the question with a little smirk on your face, she was like, yes, it does sound like something else or remind you of something.
The girls have gone wild.
That was the wrong button, Matthew.
Well, we noticed.
My surname, my maiden name was FADJ. So I've always been called FADJ or FADJ. So my original DJ name was FADJ, which spelled my nickname, and then people just called me DJ FADJ, and I've always been called FADJ. People think FADJ is mistaken for something else, so that's always a good talking point.
Just Eddie, what exactly do they mistaken it for?
He knows. You know. But I would have known 13, 10, 60, and this is clean because it's just your name, but it sounds rude or it sounds like something else, you know? My school friend was very keen to get married, and I was like, you could have changed your name before because her surname is Boneher.
Boneher. How's it spelled?
B-O-N-E.
But isn't that,
H-E-R.
wouldn't that be pronounced Boner?
No, it was her parents, bone her, H-E-R.
For the love of God, Mum. Can
her.
we say the
I'm not gonna
H
keep
is
saying
silent?
it.
No, but I know. I'm just saying, like,
It's your surname. It's passed on.
be proud.
Well, I just think sometimes things can change when the name was old. Does that make any sense? I don't
Yeah.
think people were around in the 1920s going, oh, well, this is going to be a funny thing, is it?
Don't they reckon that your name used to come from, like, what your profession was, though?
Yeah.
Way back?
Coal man. Get it?
Yep.
Fun.
Coleman and Boneher.
Walk into a bar and...
and I'm not making this up.
here we go.
I
But
swear-
13, 10, 60 if you want to join in, especially when people get married and you know when they combine, you're like...
Yep. I swear that my dad worked with a guy and his first name was Wayne and his last name was Kerr. And the topic of conversation was always the parents. That is a joke as old as time. And his parents still decided with the name last Kerr to go with Wayne.
Did they have a sense of humour or they honestly had no idea?
I never met his parents because obviously he was my dad's age. He was like a million years old to me.
Would you change your name or just own it?
I think you would just own it, wouldn't you? You'd have to stick with it. Jace, you had a friend with a rude name that wasn't.
Wait, which one do you want?
Whatever you got.
I've got two. In primary school, there was a girl, her name was Tracy, her last name was Roots, and people used to always get on the bus and be like, Tracy, Roots, and then they'd say another student's name randomly.
Oh, see, that's, yeah. So how did she spell her name? Do you remember?
Her surname?
Yeah, like
Roots.
Oh, it literally was. Oh, okay, yeah. It
The
was
old
the same as
school way.
spelling it, yeah.
And that's, you know what, when you're an adult, you don't care. But when you're in primary school, that's when it really hurts.
Yeah.
Because kids will knuckle down on that.
You get paid out about anything but the name.
You do. 13 10 60. That's what we want to know from you this morning. Legitimate rude names, right?
Yeah.
They just sound rude. They're not actually rude.
No.
13 10 60. We'll get you on next here at B105.
Stab Abby and Matt for breakfast. B105.
It's not the name that is bad. It's just our understanding of it because some names, they sound rude and they're not. And we've got the most incredible DJ performing on Saturday night for our Mums Gone Wild. And we just wanted to get her name right because we saw it and was like, is it DJ FADJ? And she's like, yes, it was my maiden name. That's where it came from.
My surname, my maiden name was Fadja. So I've always been called Fadj or Fadji. So my original DJ name was FADJ.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And
She
she's
knows.
like, she goes, I know it sounds like something else, but that's my name. And I was like, yeah, cool. We don't even know what you're talking about. It doesn't sound rude at all. But we want to know.
For the interview, we're like, is it FADJ
Yeah,
maybe? FADJio.
No, that's it. And we just want to know on 13 10 60. Have you known someone, or maybe it's you, that has a name that just, it sounds rude?
Chelsea, hello.
Hey guys, how are you?
We're good.
This one's a classic.
That's good. Hey, I actually have a couple. So I used to go to school with this girl, and her dad's name was Richard, and their surname was Head.
No, they weren't. No.
Yeah. And the dad actually called himself the abbreviated name for Richard all the time. So I think he just went with it.
I guess you got to own it. We had a principal that used to have that on the door. Like short for Richard's Dick, and he used to have that and then his surname. So he used to like really own it. And every time we used to walk past, we used to be like, but that's,
It's so wild.
Yeah.
And then I also had a friend whose mum's name was Sandy and their last name was Hoa.
Well, I mean, there's really... That one is not about the combination of any of them because it's just...
Do you remember how the surname was spelled?
It was H-O-R-E.
Yeah, just owned it.
Yeah.
I wonder
So,
if that's, they got that from their profession.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess if you had a classic name, it wouldn't be as bad, would it? But, you know... It's
Would
just,
it?
Well, Sandy is... You can be Sandy.
Yeah, Sandy's
You know what
great.
I mean?
Yeah. Sandy Smith is what you're saying. Could have been okay.
Yeah, but a Sandy,
not good.
Not great at all. Nadine, hello.
Hi.
Naughty names. They're real names, but they're naughty. What do you got?
I work for a company, and one of our customers, we renew their service every year, and his name is actually Richard Gagandeep.
Gagandeep.
It's an Indian name, and it's quite common, apparently.
Yeah, it was a lovely name, but it's just when you put it with the other one,
And every time we sort of crack up laughing, but it's literally Richard Gagandeep, and then obviously, as the previous lady mentioned, the abbreviation for Richard, we're like, oh my God.
Now, is Richard his Australian name though? Because some, people when they migrate, they have to just pick an Australian
I guess
name.
Nadine's never asked. Have you asked?
No, we're not game enough.
No, of course you're not. You don't want to go, excuse me, is that the name
I feel like they're asking for you to ask it.
Well, it might be, I know, the child was born here, but the parents' surname
Yeah.
followed. But it's just really unfortunate.
Yes. Richard Gag
I don't
and
think I'm
Deep.
mature enough for this.
No, God, no.
Marina, you would hear some names. You work was this at childcare?
Yes, I worked at a childcare at a resort in central Queensland, and one of the students or the children that I had, her name was Claire Hornyblow. Now, I didn't believe it. I thought that the worker was
Yeah.
written it down wrong. So I looked up the white pages, and sure enough, horny blow.
And is that how they pronounce it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just
Like
didn't know if it-
literally HORNIBLOW, horny blow.
Because I get so nervous when I'm like emceeing something and you see a name come up and you're like, oh, maybe it's pronounced different.
Surely
I know.
they should
Yeah.
be it's Hornablau.
Hornablau.
Hornablau. All right, let's go to Ellie at Everton Park. What naughty name have you got for us?
We knew Greeks that had the last name Fuckus.
How do you
They were the Fuckuses.
Keep
Right.
saying it, Ellie. Is that a common surname?
I don't think so. I don't think so. We only knew of one lot that were called the Fuckuses.
You got
She's
it.
not-
I know it's their
That's their
surname.
name. She's
I
not
know.
swearing.
I know. I'm sorry, Ellie.
She's not swearing.
But I bet
No.
you know what, and I bet you would always use first names until it came to them, and you kids would love introducing them as their surname.
Maybe.
Ellie, you're the winner. Thanks for calling.
Oh,
It's always good to see Abby uncomfortable.
oh dear.
Stab Abby and Matt for breakfast. B105.
I'm going to ask if anyone saw it, and you can call 13 10 60 if you did. So that way, if you don't call, I can not worry about it. But last week, my 8-year-old daughter threw the biggest tantrum in Kmart at Indro.
Oh, you think you might have been like spotted? People saw it and were like, "Oh, that's
Well-
a hard parent."
I thought that I was keeping a lid on it. But you know when you think later and you're like, maybe I was showing signs? We had to go in there to get some stuff for a science project at school.
Oh, yep, already stressful.
Of course.
Yep.
And the science project is a water balloon, and then they've got to create a contraption around it that they can drop from the balcony and protect the balloon. All right?
What
So
year
it's
is this?
Year 3.
Okay.
So it's something about force, blah, blah, blah.
I did that for Tournament of Minds. Do you remember that? And you had to get an egg to...
No.
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 Cool.
But
Yeah, it was a
sounds
maths
like-
competition, but yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I wouldn't have done that.
Cool.
But my daughter is very specific in the things that she wants or what she thinks is right.
And it's very unrelatable to you because she's also studious.
Correct. She wants to
Get whatever grade you want. Doesn't matter.
She wants to impress her teacher.
Oh.
So, the email comes home from school to say what you need, but then she has her interpretation of what either her friends have told her or the teacher has said. And I'm
Yeah.
like, babe, I have it here in writing. This is
Yeah.
what you need. So we go in and she starts to kick up a bit of a stink. Now, Esther's there as well, but Esther had to go off to Country Road to exchange something. So she's like, later, losers, I'll leave you to
A
it.
plus science experiment. I'm sorry. I'm like, nah, that's Dad's. Dads need to do that.
Well, I'm like, fine, let's go into Kmart. And she was just being really rude, right? And we walk halfway there and I pull her into the cooking aisle, which we go past on the way. And I go, listen to me. If you don't cut it out right now, we're going to go home. I'm
that was-
sick of this.
That would have really gone down well.
She just looked at me like, and then I scan around to make sure. Because, I'm down, kneeling down right in her grill. Like,
Yeah.
cut this shit out. And
I'll
I
give you a lollipop if you don't.
So then we keep walking over.
Yeah.
We walk over to find the and I couldn't find it.
So what was she after? Just
Cotton balls.
Oh, okay, yeah, but she wanted specific and yeah.
Anyway, we get there, and because I couldn't find it, I just had a gutful, and I was
Yeah.
like, nah, I'm done. We are out of here. And then she's like, I'm sorry, Daddy. I'm sorry. No, stop. It's
I
fine.
really need it.
I promise this time I'll stop. I've stopped. Look. I've stopped.
Oh.
And I was just annoyed.
You're over it.
I was annoyed. So I go, nah, we're walking. So she's following behind me crying, right? And I've got the blue Kmart basket in my hand.
Yeah.
And I walk out, and then the guy who's got the little beep beep to check that you're not flogging stuff looks at me, and I just put the basket down, and I just keep on walking, right? I'm walking. I'm
So
like,
she's
nah.
following you? Or
Yes.
she's having okay, yeah.
But she's still at this point going,
Crying.
I'm sorry, Daddy. I'm sorry, Daddy. Daddy, I'm so sorry. Look, Daddy, I'm going to stop, Daddy. I'm going to stop. And I was like, no, I've committed. And when you have to make a decision as a parent, you go, the foot's down.
But you're only going to have to make another trip. So do you go back in and then kind of go, we'll do it? Or do you have to stand your ground and teach them a lesson?
For some reason, I decided, no, I'm going to stand my ground.
Good for you.
So we go out the Kmart, we go past the Daiso, we go past Aldi, and we're just about out the door to the car, and she stops right in the middle of the door and she goes, well, I'm not moving.
Oh, so she stood her ground. Go girl.
So I scooped her up.
Oh, and she's kicking, screaming.
Yeah. And had to look like the person who's abducting a child.
It does always look like that, doesn't it? Like, do you scream to people saying she's mine, and then people are like, well, that's no better anyway.
Yes. Yeah, which is really unfair as a man because you're like, I'd fully look like, and I'm going, she's my daughter.
Yeah.
She's my daughter. Why would I
so
take
hard.
one like this anyway?
So, yeah, I could have done better. And you just go, I know people are looking at you and you're like, it happens to everyone, but it is just those stares where you just go bright red. I had a situation where Finney had a meltdown and I was heavily pregnant with my second. And he was on the floor, like kicking, screaming or whatever. And a lovely older guy said, hey, do you want me to pick him up for you? And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. So I had a stranger holding him, kicking and
he was
screaming.
still good.
Yeah, and the guy goes, I didn't know if I should ask. And I was like, no, I really respect that because I couldn't literally pick him up and I didn't know what else to do. So he just goes, he gets to the car and goes, I am presuming he's yours. I said, yeah, mate. And I said the same thing. I was like, I would have picked someone better. So yes, he definitely is.
So I text Esther, because Esther was meant to meet us back at Kmart. I text her and I said, we're in the car. Thinking that she would realise because she'd left us 4 minutes beforehand. She comes back in with a big shopping bag like, how did you guys go?
How'd you go? You got?
Ian's go, Daddy wouldn't let me buy it! She went, not good. Hey,
Did you go back in or you drove off?
No, I drove off.
So what'd you do with the science experiment?
I said, this is your problem now, Esther. You can deal with
I know.
Stab Abby and Matt for breakfast. B105.
Dear Abby.
Sometimes in life, gets real, and that's when you need Abby to help.
I'm trying to help you.
Look, 131060, you can weigh in with this one. What would you do? I've actually lost my sheet. You know, we always just read from my phone. This is the first time I printed it out. Here we go. Sorry. We're chatting. Stav wasn't here to pull me up on it. He's going to be back tomorrow, guys. He's sick. Maddie, this is one that you will be able to answer, okay, because you've gone through this. And if you've got a dilemma, you can send it in, dearabby@b105.com.au. She is complaining about her adult kids. She's saying, how long is too long to allow an adult child to stay at home rent-free? She's been back home for a year now to save some money and to plan ahead for a future, but it seems like that she's spending a lot of money on stuff I don't agree with. Nails, hair, lashes. Oh, well, that's a bit standard. It's a bit harsh. But
that's not standard.
And now I'm not sure how much money is actually being saved. I got on her case about cleaning up after herself and she gets argumentative with me right away. We don't want to push her away, but I kind of feel like we're being taken for granted. What should I do? 131060 to weigh on with this. No, I say that it's essential stuff, but I'm feeling like that's how she's always done it. And she might have already always done that as well because the parents have helped out. So if you don't have to pay for rent or anything else.
But if you've moved back in and you've said, hey, I want to do this so I can save money.
Yes.
Now, whether that is to buy a house or whether that's to go on a trip or do whatever, the idea of you moving with your parents and you can save money because what you've done is you've passed a lot of your costs on to your parents. You're not paying electricity,
that's the point
water.
of it, yep.
But if you're the parent taking on the extra cost for them and then you're seeing that they're just spending their money on more frivolous, unnecessary things, they're not saving money. All they've done is given responsibility to you for no benefit.
Yeah. And I think this is a case as well where they might have done the wrong thing by not setting up what was going to be the rules before she moved back. I only say that because I moved back home. And I was like, all right, well, how long is this going to be? Because I moved back with my now husband because we were trying to save for a house and we just couldn't. So we're like, let's move back home. We don't need to pay for rent. But I was like, we need to sort of set boundaries of how long we're going to be here for. Because I was like, my husband's going to find it tough, you know, moving with my mum and dad.
Of course.
The difference was that actually he found it really easy and I struggled.
He had some allies. That's why he liked it.
Yes. So I'm sorry, Scott. She's been like this her whole life. You made your choices. I mean, now's the time to run away. I'm still here in the room. Thank you very much.
In fact, we'll kick her out. You stay,
I'd come
Scott.
home. They would be having beers. I'd be like, are you right?
I think, though, I don't think the time is the issue here for this parent.
No, but
it's the...
But if you were going to say, hey, I'm going to move back for a year because I'm really focused on saving and I'm going to put this much money away each time, but I feel like now it's like, well, is this going to be permanent? Because there's no emergency.
Yes, yeah. And they're not, it doesn't sound like they're saving.
I think I feel like I want to be great in that situation because I've never gone through it. But my nephew at the moment, he's 18 and my brother's having a really hard time because he went for a couple of jobs, didn't get them, finished school last year. His girlfriend is in year 12 now, so still at school. So he's like, oh, we might move interstate next year.
Yeah.
And he's at home playing games the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing the whole unhelpful thing of, why don't you just unplug it? Why don't you unplug it and tell him to get a job? But he's like, he's gone for jobs. He didn't get them. And then he's like, maybe he hasn't got the self-esteem to be able to go and get them. But at the same time, then they're like, we'll do the washing up. And he's like, no.
Oh, look, I can feel that when you come home to your recently graduated child in their pajamas playing Xbox with a full plate of the leftovers that you plan to eat when you get home.
You found the leftovers so hard. God, you complained about that. You know, he only did it for like 6 months, wasn't it?
Yes.
You're like, I was
tough.
looking forward to going home and getting it. He ate my leftovers.
Yes.
That was your biggest thing.
Well, no, it wasn't. He didn't have a job. That was my biggest thing.
Then what did you do?
Argued with him. Huffed and puffed. But what I did learn from it was only a short time. It did move on quickly.
Yeah.
So I went, I think it annoyed me too quickly. Straight away. I expected, just because I had gone and got a full-time job straight out of year 12 the next day, that he should have done the same, and he was a different person to me.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't have had the same expectation on him as I had for myself.
Yeah. I do think it's hard when you become an adult as well, because when I go home, sometimes when I go home and see my parents, I don't go and do the dishes because I never did. And I was like, oh, no.
And that's tough too, because you think that all of a sudden they're just going to change who they are.
They're going to change, yeah.
They're not
and
going
it's karma, because now they come over to ours and they just leave it on the table.
Correct.
I was like, I'll go and get that.
13, 10, 60. In this situation, what should the parents do?
Do you charge rent? Do you say, hey, this is not gonna happen, you can't get your nails done?
Yeah. All right, we'll take your calls next.
Stab Abby and Matt for breakfast. B105.
Dear Abby.
Sometimes in life, gets real. And that's when you need Abby to help.
I'm trying to help you.
You love your kids, you do anything for them, but what happens when they become adults and they still stay at home rent-free? This is the Dear Abby, and if you've got one, you can send it in, dearabby@b105.com.au. She just said she's been back for a year so far. Save money, make a plan for her future, but it seems like she's just wasting money on, getting her nails done, lashes done. She hasn't really seen any actual savings. She's asked her to clean up. She gets argumentative about it. Yeah, it's hard because they're always your kids, but at the same time, you would be feeling like you're being taken granted for.
Yeah, well, especially when there should be some savings, Penny on 13, 10, 60. It's a pickle of a situation. What do you reckon she should do?
Oh, they need to start implementing rent straight away.
Yeah?
Either that or that child / adult needs to start becoming the best housemate ever.
It's a good point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're not contributing to the household, like physically with those chores, then if they can provide for the child and they have the finances to do that, fine. But it's still not really teaching them those lessons once they get out in the world, and they got to do that for themselves.
Yeah. And only last week we were talking about the fact that half of millennials say that they can't adult once they leave. And it's maybe because they haven't been doing it. Have you got a 19-year-old? Is she living at home?
I do, yeah. I have a 19-year-old. She's been working in school since she was 15 and earning good money. We sort of left it a bit too late to implement rent with her because she was doing the exact same thing, spending her money on herself, not contributing to the house, and not saving any money.
Yeah. Can I ask how much you charge for rent?
So she pays $80 a week.
Right, yeah. And that's all
And that does include some of it includes internet and like her phone as well. So I still feel it's probably a little light, compared. But also too, if you wanted to take their rent and save it for them, if you could afford to do that and didn't need to absorb it into the household, I think that would be a great way to give them a little leg up as well.
Yeah. We were saying that'd be nice in theory for it, yeah.
Yeah. And Shane, that's actually what you're doing at the moment, right?
Yeah, I've got my child was 17, finished school, went straight into an apprenticeship as a carpenter. He struggled with finding somewhere to rent, so he's moved back into home, and I charge him $150 a week. But I also have 3 other kids that live with me, 5, 7, 11. So they do their weekly chores, and their age is their pay they get for their weekly chores. So my 5-year-old empties the dishwasher every day. she then gets $5 a week. So his $150 goes into a bank account, but then he pays the other 3 children to do their chores around the house. And then at the end of it, like we go away in January, we're going to Japan skiing. He said, I'm not going to touch it. I want to go away with you guys. So now he's paying for his own airfare ticket to go to Japan skiing with us.
Right.
I like all that.
In a way, he's saving.
Yeah.
But he's paying the kids to do the work.
I know, that's what I got. I was like, well, that's kind of...
At that age, too, at 18, you do need help with that because you don't think about money. You just go, I want that, I'll buy it. You don't actually think about saving money. So that's a great plan, Shane. I love that.
Emma in Springfield, what do you think about this situation?
Yeah, I think my mum, she had a very unconventional way of how to deal with it. So my older sister, when she graduated, she dropped out of her apprenticeship in uni and then sat around the house for 2 years. So my mum got her in a car and drove her to Western Australia, dropped her off in Western Australia from Queensland and said, you have to stay here for a year, get a job for a year and hold it, and then you can come back.
Does she know anyone there?
No, she did not.
So she literally kicked her out of the car with the bag and said, work it out? Or did they...
She left to the car. She flew back. But
had they set up living arrangements?
That is a mum who has been fed up for 2 years to go, can I find that is the furthest place from here?
Yeah, pretty much. So she didn't have any living arrangements, gave her some money to live in like a hotel for the first week. But after that, she said, figure it out.
And what happened as a result? Did she get on her feet?
Yeah, she actually got a job at the post office, worked there for a year, came back, and then has been working since. And I moved out at 17 and haven't been back in the house since.
Yeah, because you're
scared
of going to WA.
Yeah. So she definitely learnt the hard way, and I made sure that, I was ready to be in the real world by the time I was 18.
Yeah,
so,
I want to speak to your mum.
Well. Yeah, she's an amazing lady.
See, the thing is...
hard love.
Yeah. But it would have been hard to do. What I'm saying is I wouldn't have the guts to be able to do that. Like I would...
Well, there's a lot of time in the car to talk it out between Queensland and Perth to be like, come on, Mum, what are you doing? I get it, Mum. This is I'm going to turn the car around and make you walk.
A long threat.
We're in the middle of Australia. When are we going back?
Nullarbor? For real? All right.
Stab Abby and Matt for breakfast. B105.
Love and marriage, love and marriage.
I actually felt sorry for Tammy Hembrown. She's an influencer. That's how you describe her, wouldn't you? She's a fitness...
Yeah, from the Gold Coast.
Yeah, she's a fitness... I think she is a PT as well. She has a lot of different brands that are out, and she's very successful, and she's got 3 beautiful kids that she's now going to focus on because she has announced that she's getting divorced, and she only got married late last year. And it's one of those things where it's like she's so public, so she has to say something, but people are like, oh, yeah, saw that coming.
Right, because she was engaged... That got called off, and then she got engaged like a month later or something, wasn't it? It was like really quick.
She was engaged, and then they had 2 kids, and then she got engaged again, and then had another child, and then got married. She's going to stay single for some time. But I felt sorry for her yesterday because she really did open up, and she was honest, just going, yep, I own it.
I am more cautious going forward and more eyes wide open. And, listen to the people around me, and hopefully I just finally learn from these mistakes, which I feel like I finally will.
But is that a success? Because, it's not really a year, but married late.
A 7-month marriage, is that a success?
No, but I think no one really goes down the altar and goes, well, it's just for a year. You want it to be forever.
You say till death do us part.
Yeah.
If you're both still alive at 7 months in...
You might be surprised it's actually not in the vows.
It's not?
No. It's not to death do us part.
Well, can we not spread that? Let's keep the marketing up of the you're allowed to leave.
Sure. But there is a list of celebrities that have been married for a very short time.
Because I always think at 7 months, right, if you're getting divorced at 7 months...
You shouldn't have got married in the first place?
Well, you've already been fight. Like, it's not like they had a fight on Wednesday last week and then decided... over the weekend to get divorced. They must have been fighting irreparable for at least a month.
My friend got divorced under a year, and I said, when did you know? And she said, when we got out of the car and I was ready to walk down the aisle. I was like, are you for real? I was behind you. She goes, yeah.
Yeah,
I was like, you knew then? She goes, I honestly did, but I just couldn't turn around and run.
No, you can't. Everyone's there waiting. They got to pay the bill still.
I wish we'd driven off. It would have been a bit more
Dramatic.
I was going to use those words, and then I realised it wasn't me. It wasn't my marriage, so no, that's not fair. Hey, Britney Spears and Jason Alexander, do you remember them?
Mm-hmm.
55 Hours they got married.
Vegas, wasn't it?
Yes, and it was a high school sweetheart as well. So that was not very long. 4 days for Nicolas Cage. And then apparently they got married and then they split up straight away. So they got married in Vegas and then I don't think had a honeymoon. They split up straight away and then they had to file for an annulment, which you can do in America. You can't actually do in Australia. You need to still stay married for a year before you can then apply for a divorce.
Because they have that weird thing in Vegas, don't they, where you don't have to do any paperwork. You can literally...
Well, you do the paperwork there
yeah,
straight away.
like on the day. Whereas here, you've got to put it into births, deaths, and marriages and all that sort of stuff.
So Australia recognises marriages from overseas if they followed the laws that are there. So in America, it's a little bit quicker. So Eddie Murphy, 14 days.
Who was that to?
Well, you wouldn't know because she was only there for 14 days. Tracy Edmonds? Yeah, we need Stav to be able to fill out
How
that
long?
one.
How long was that one?
14 days.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that was who he married?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
So, yeah, that was not very long, was it?
She's a businesswoman and television producer. Right, so they must have been working on a show together at
Drew
the time.
Barrymore got married for 39 days.
That's good.
Jeremy Thomas. Yeah, was a 31-year-old bar owner and they met during a night of partying and after 6 weeks of dating, they were like, yep, this is just fate, let's get married. The thing is, my old boss that I used to work for in Sydney, his parents had a love story. They met on a boat coming from England over here and then they got married on the boat after knowing each other for 4 hours.
Got married after 4 hours?
4 hours. Stayed together their whole life.
Yeah, but our grandparents had commitment back
They
then.
really did. I don't know if they were happy, but they stayed together.
They would stay married to people they loathed.
Chris Humphries and Kim Kardashian, that was probably the most famous one, which is, yes, if you can have a guess.
Because that was televised. Remember, it was a big... They filmed the whole thing. It was like one of the
You
first
mean Kim's
television
fairy
weddings.
tale wedding?
Yeah.
A Kim
Wasn't that
Kardashian event?
72 hours.
72 days.
Days. Oh,
Yeah.
So,
So
yes.
72 hours sounds like a
Sorry.
movie.
I knew it was
Yeah.
72 something.
Yeah, they said but their actual relationship was 100% real, even though they feel like the marriage was fake. Yeah.
Because that was probably one of the first huge, big TV weddings that everyone...
Yeah. Nicolas Cage got married again. Lisa Marie Presley. They were together for 107 days.
Did she marry Michael Jackson?
Yes. Did they get married? Or did they... I think she did.
I'm pretty sure.
Fact checking, one sec.
Yeah, she did get married. Pamela Anderson and Kid Rock, 122 days. Had time to do a movie together, but yeah. Bradley Cooper, he was married for 122 days. You wouldn't know his partner, though. There you go.
They're addicted to getting married, celebrities. Do you think it's because they've got so much stuff in their life, so much money, that they get a rush out of the everyday stuff that the normal people do?
Yeah, maybe. And you've also got, I guess, more options to cheat because you're a celebrity. So maybe that's what it is, more temptation.
Right.
Where everyone's like, oh, that seems like a big deal. I mean, I had to save up for that wedding for a long period of time.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point. So Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie Presley got married in 1994, just weeks after her divorce from Danny Keogh.
Yeah, so they're married for 2 years.
They lasted 2 years.
Yeah.
Good on them. Go the celebrities. All right, stand by, guys. David Crisafulli, he's going to be joining us. The Premier, we're talking budget, and we'll find out if his wife wants to come along to Mum's Gone Wild.
Stab Abby and Matt for breakfast. B105.
Usually people don't want to talk budgets, but we do this morning. David Crisafulli, the Premier, joins us. Hello, buddy.
Well, clearly Stav doesn't want to. Where's he?
Oh, he was like, no way. And to be fair, Matt says that. Matt has, he does a home budget, right? And he has his spreadsheet. And every time I've asked him for the spreadsheet, because I'm like, yes, I'm going to do a budget as well. And it's so boring that I then forget to fill it out. So he enjoys it. But I guess, can you make the state budget seem a bit more like, yeah,
Our
interesting?
treasurer takes the same approach. He loves this stuff. He can look at numbers all day, kind of an accountant. But in the end, they're important. They're important to do the things that we need to do. So, yeah, no, it's an important day for the state. And I just want people to know the things we said we're going to do before the election, we'll be honouring them. And when you look at what the state, the opportunities for us in the next decade and beyond, we're on the cusp of something very, very special in Queensland, and this will be our first budget, and it'll set us up for a long time to come to make sure we can do the things we said we're going to do.
Do you have the same categories? Do you have like savings, fun, holiday?
What, like the jars for the barefoot investor? Is that what you mean? Splurge one?
No, they're a bit more serious than that, aren't they?
I've never heard the word fun in the word politics, so you'd be the first to bring.
What's the fun money? Where are you going to spend your fun money?
Yeah, I'm glad you admit it. Hey, David, I know that one of your focus has been on youth crime, and I guess that's going to be reflected in the budget for money aside for that. This sounds like really corny, and Stav's not here to call me cringe as he always does. But with youth crime, is there going to be some sort of, I guess, form for not just the punishment and being able to make people accountable, but also having a bit more of hope for those that are, I guess, a little bit lost in some sort of pathways for their future, if that makes sense?
More so than ever before, Abby. So yesterday we announced funding for a school on the Gold Coast, which is called Men of Business. They do great work in turning kids around. But in the past, they've only done right at the end of secondary school. We're giving them some extra funding to build a building to start from grade 7. We're doing more in the early intervention space, but also the rehabilitation space once people leave jail. So we're serious about that. So, yes, you've heard me talk a lot about stronger laws. That's important. We have to make sure there's consequences for actions, and that's the whole logic behind adult crime, adult time. But you've also got to be compassionate, and you've also got to give an opportunity for people to turn their life around early. So, you'll see a record investment in that space. It's important to us. Everything I do and all of our focus is about how can we have fewer victims. And fewer victims, yes, it's about stronger laws, but it's also about stopping that next pipeline coming through. And you do that through structures and making sure that you've got early intervention programs to turn kids around.
It's true. You got to break cycles if you're going to actually make any change.
Yeah.
We've got a big party on this weekend. I'm sure you've heard about it. Have you, Premier? Mum's Gone Wild?
Look, guys, if I tell you I've had my head buried in books looking at a budget, can you forgive me for having missed?
No, we no.
But tell me more. Tell me more, please.
I was excited to have you on today, and we heard that yesterday, and I was like, I wonder if his wife just needs to let loose. So Mum's Gone Wild is something where we're just being like, it's halfway through the year, it's a school term. We're doing such a good job, and we just need to let loose. So Mum's Gone Wild is happening at the Valley on Saturday. So I just wanted to give the invite to your wife if she has had enough of it all.
She is listening.
Well, Tegan, the invite is always there, right? I mean, it's disco cowgirl, so I mean, she can dress whatever she wants. No one even needs to know it's her.
Even better, actually.
Do people, when you guys go out for a night, say you have date night, do you get stopped a lot? Like, will people want to chat to you?
Yeah, they do, but it's pretty good. Like, when, really speaking, people genuinely raise things that help in what I'm doing. Today, we're doing a shared equity scheme, which we're calling Boost to Buy, to help people get into a home who don't have access to the bank of mum and dad. That idea and the lifting of the income thresholds actually came from someone in my electorate, someone on the Northern Gold Coast who approached me. He and his partner are mortgage brokers, and he said to me, look, this would be an amazing way of getting people into the housing market who otherwise wouldn't. And we're doing that today. Look, that's pretty special. And that came about because of a conversation with someone who is passionate about it. And
I love how passionate you are about the state, and we do think you're doing such a great job. But please don't let that be your conversation for date night, though.
Well, as anyone, the only thing we normally talk about is the kids.
I know. And you're like, we've got to talk about something else. Damn it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or you go out somewhere and then the kids are in the background. You're like, oh, look at those kids. They're cute.
Yeah, so let's talk about something else. So how about those kids?
Yeah.
Where is date night for you? What do you guys like to do?
We haven't had one for a while.
You've been a bit busy.
We do. Our kids are now no longer kids. They're one's an adult and one's very, very close. So we enjoy nothing more than spending time with them, being at home, watching them. They bring their friends over. We're very proud of who they are. We've kept them out of the public spotlight, which I spoke to you about last time I was on.
Yeah. We keep bringing it up. Damn us.
We make sure that they can be their own independent, strong women, and that they are, and we're very proud of them.
I'll ask you this because we did have an email, a Dear Abby, come through from someone saying they want to charge their kids, I guess their adult kids living at home, maybe rent, or I guess getting them to contribute. Is it something you do in your household, or you're like, no, they're too busy studying, they need to be able to get all the money they can?
That's a point of great contention. Mum does want to charge them something. It's a hard no from Dad. While they're there, it pleases me nothing more than to see them leave the lights on and leave the water running, and just knowing that I'm contributing to their hopes and dreams.
Yeah, I know, right? It's such a mate. I've got my eldest son has moved out of home. He's got his own child now. And it's still funny, like he's a dad, he's a married man, but still when we go out for dinner, he somehow he disappears when it's time to pay. Like I can't find him anywhere at that point.
That's what Dad's for. You got to shout when you go out for dinner, and you got to shout when they're eating at home, and you've got to make sure that you're putting the petrol in, and just doing all those things to make them completely and utterly not appreciate you until about 30 years' time when they're doing the same for theirs.
Yeah, to be fair, I awkwardly giggle, but I'm like, I don't pay if I go out with my dad.
So yeah, exactly. Thanks so much for chatting to us this morning. We know that you're doing your absolute best, and your whole team is to keep the state moving forward. And like you said, it's some really exciting times in Queensland. So great to talk to you this morning.
Really grateful for your time, guys, and just let Stav know next year we expect nothing else but for him to be on deck, please.
Yes,
He'll do a one-on-one breakdown with you. He'll do a podcast special. He'd love that. He'd love it.
Let's spare all of us, please.
Stav, Abby and Matt.
Alpha Bucks, we're going to play tomorrow, guys, 6, 7 and 8. Next week is 50K day, so it's now important more than ever to get yourself in. Your answers are, I've got them here.
Okay.
6 a.m, vodka, vet and Vegemite. 7 o'clock is harp, heart and hard. 8 is roundabout, Rihanna and Robin Williams. See you then, bye.
Bye.
Stav, Abby and Matt for breakfast. B105.